a quick and easy candy cane decoration that anybody can make. Hello everyone, I'm Caroline and today I'm going to show you how I make a candy cane decoration for Christmas. Now this is ideal because it doesn't take very long. It's really simple to assemble and it's also open to so much interpretation. You can use whatever you have at hand. So I've got a few things here that I'm now going to put to the side, and then I will show you my pieces of cardboard for this very technical demonstration. Now I'm going to make the candy cane out of cardboard. You can buy pre-made candy cane. I'll show you, I got one here. This sort of grid that you can actually build things onto, so you don't have to do any work if you want to cut down the amount of work, but this will cost you money. I've simply used cardboard, but I've used 2 layers of cardboard and I'll show you why. Cardboard has got a natural line where it's corrugated and it bends so easy. It's very flimsy, and if you make something out of a single layer of cardboard, it's going to damage so fast. And I've got 2 here and they're both exactly the same. So if you put them together, that doesn't help. But if you put them at 90 degrees, the corrugation on the one way and on the other piece on the other way, now you've got something very strong. So when you're making your pattern for your candy cane, always make sure you cut one running on the one way and the other at a 90-degree angle to it. And I'll show you some that I cut out earlier. Here are mine. Now, they're a bit tatty, but that doesn't matter. I had to cut mine out with a penknife. I know, my husband decided he needed to borrow the Stanley knife. He didn't tell me it was gone, so I used a penknife. I got there in the end. I just almost had to chew through them. So when I cut these out, if you have a look, you can see the corrugations running down there and across there. And that's because you can see already this one's got bent. So it will be a useless decoration. It would last 5 minutes. I've got bits of thread everywhere. So if you do 2 different directions and then glue them together, then you've got something much stronger. Now I used tacky glue for this. Here's my Aleene's quick dry tacky glue, and always make sure you go near to the end, or the edge rather than the end, and give it a good coating of glue, but not too much. You don't want to spend out a fortune on glue because it is surprising just how firmly this tacky glue will hold. And the chances are if you do one side, the other side will hold, but I just wanted to be extra careful. So when you do this, be sure that you're gluing the right sides that you want glued. If I glued this side and then went to put them together, you're in a bit of a mess. You want to make sure you open it up like a book. So put it as if it was together, open it up like a book, and you know you've got the opposites then. Now also with this cardboard, the corrugations are much more obvious on the one side to the other. So I decided that I'm going to put the corrugations, or the more obvious corrugations, inward, so they doesn't affect the candy cane, even though we're going to cover this, so it's not so important. But it just felt like a sensible thing to do. Right, so when you got your candy canes glued, pop them together, and if you've been a bit of a messy cutter like me, you will find that there are certain pieces that are not quite lined up. You need to fiddle about a bit, and don't take too long over this part just in case it dries on you. But then get your scissors and you can just neaten up like there. There's a little bit sticking out there. We just chop that off near enough. It hasn't got to be perfect. Now when they're dry, you can leave them like this if you want to save some time, but just to be doubly careful again, I decided I was going to paint mine white. I didn't worry about it being a perfectly white coat. So as long as you get a coat of white on there, then it'll just means that if anything is showing through, it'll show through white rather than brown. So here's my painted and dried cardboard. Now it's a bit of a mess, but that really doesn't matter. So the next thing you need to do is to get some fabric. Now I always use recycled fabric. I go to charity shops, a bit of Christmas trim there. I find fabrics that nobody wants because they're in the form of dresses or things. They're in the 99p bin where they're saying, please take us away before we go to the rags. And I then take them away, and I've had some lovely things. This is off a bridesmaid's dress, and there was yards of it. So what I've done is I've cut it into 2-inch strips, and I've got some white because we're doing a candy cane. And I've got a few strips of white, And I've got some red. Now the white is going to be easy enough to disguise the edges. I'll show you there. Yeah, it's a little bit tatty where I tore it, but that isn't an issue at all. But on this red one, I wanted to make sure that it didn't have tatty edges. So if I show you on this white, what I did is I ran some glue down the one side. I'll show you, I'll actually do it. You can't see it very well. Ran some glue down the one side, folded it over like that, and then ran some glue down the other side. Only I did the whole length of the strip, and then folded that down that side, and then let it dry, and you've got yourself some nicely edged fabric. Right, so now we get our white, and the first thing we're going to do is cover the candy cane. Now you may find if you painted the cardboard in here, it's still a little bit wet. It takes forever to dry. I like my candy cane go in that direction. You may decide to do one of each in both directions, but for the sake of this, I'm going to have this facing up, so I'm going to start on the back. And I'm going to glue that down, and then always making sure you turn the edges in on the bits that will be showing. We'll come down the bottom first. And it's just a matter then of going around and around, making sure that your raw edges, these are the, what you could term the scruffy edges, are covered, and you've got enough glue to hold it in place. So when you finish, you can now neaten things up. I've got a few stray bits sticking up of the white fraying edge. If you've got anything that's really awkward, you can just make sure you cover that when you get on to the next stage. Look at me, I'm covered in glue. And the next stage is to add the stripes. Now there are a few ways you can do this. I've got two things to show you. One, you could put on something like this. This is a bead, what would you call it, garland, I suppose, that you can buy to go on your Christmas tree or whatever. Now you could, I'll just do this from this height and show you, that'll be easier because it's so long. You put that around, and that is pretty quick and is very easy and pliable to do. So that is, in one sense, the easiest way. I fancied having something that looks more like a candy cane with almost equal size stripes, and that's why I've opted to use this red. Oh, look, I'm covered in glue. I'm always covered in glue or paint or something. The plan is that I'll be able to tuck it up in there a little bit, just a tiny bit. Just hold it for a couple of seconds to make sure it is drying out or cooling down, and it'll have more adhesion then, otherwise it's going to fall out, because you've got to put a little bit of pressure on now as you come around the corner. Now this is not going to be enough. I've got another piece here, and I have worked out that it should, in theory, be enough. We'll give it a try. Right, so I've cut this at an angle, blob a little bit of glue there, pull it around and let it cool for a couple of seconds before you let it go. And there we go, you've got one candy cane covered in some red stripes. Now it's a little bit messy now because I've got bits of glue everywhere. And now we need to decorate this. So there are a few options. That's pulling a little bit loose there, so I'm going to put a little bit of tension on this here, on the back, put a bit of glue in there, and then pull it around a bit tighter. Right, so there's my candy cane. It's made of fabric and it's got a nice feel to it. It doesn't feel like cardboard at all. Now, what is the best way to decorate a candy cane? Well, whatever takes your fancy. You could stick something like gingerbread man on there. Put it at that angle so you can see him. He's looking quite gorgeous there. I got one of those, a giant snowflake, or even you could put your giant snowflake halfway down like that, and then I don't think a gingerbread man's going to go well, so let's rummage in my little bag, see what I got. My glue gun before I melt it all. And I've got a little Santa here with a candy cane that we could put on. That's quite nice. And I've got a robin with no wings. That's not going to work, is it? I need to find him some wings. We've got a star. There. I've got a snowman. I got all these in a bag for £1 today in the charity shop. That's not showing very well, is it? Too transparent. And we've got long dangly bits. No. I've got silver bows. I don't think so. Poinsettias. No, this is a fun thing, so I don't want anything serious like a poinsettia on it. Got some snowflakes. But to start, the first thing I want to put on, and then we can figure out if we're putting anything else on. Oh, I don't know. That may look nice, having a selection of things up like that. You can really do absolutely anything. But I'm going to move all these out the way and show you what I think is going to look best. Put that wreath there. Move all the glitter off there. And I've got some bits of branch off an old Christmas tree. So I've had a look and figured out that I can make these say the word joy if I use that as the O. So I find my scissors. And what I've done, you can see on this one, I've shaped it into a J, but trim a few more bits off rather than leave it really bushy. Well, this is a bushy one. Now, this has a join in it, so I'm going to use that as a Y. If I put that there and that there, you can see the difference. The Y looks really tatty, so I'm going to trim down the Y. Make a mess everywhere. This is not the thing to be doing if you've got very gluey hands, otherwise you're going to look like a Christmas tree yourself. But if you just chop all the bits off, it looks so much more glamorous and elegant. It's quite easy to do. It's actually quite fun. Cleaning up afterwards is not so much fun. So now we've got J-O-Y and a very messy table. Move everything out of the way. So I think that that is the best way to decorate this candy cane. Joy, because it's a bit of fun. So we need to stick those on. And for that, we're going to use more glue from the glue gun. It's another rogue. Sorted you out. So rather than glue the candy cane, I glue the letter because you're never going to get it in exactly the right place. Now you could leave it like that. I quite like it left like that, but let's have a look if an embellishment is going to add something to it. So we've got our little snowflake we could put there. No, I don't think so. We put our little... I think that's really amusing putting that on there. I've got a penguin. No, he needs to be more three-dimensional for this. Like a gonk on a pine cone, but I don't think that suits. I think the pine cone... Can I take the pine cone off? No, it's pretty firmly stuck, so I'll keep that for something else. This little homemade tree? Nope. A no-me type person. You can see here the price on these, about 49p when they were all joined together. 3 or 4 of them I had for 49p. Oh, I like that. Yes, I think he's the one. So should we put him straight? I think my camera's a bit wonky, isn't it? Do that. There, that's a bit straighter. Should we put him straight or should we put him at a jaunty angle? I do love a jaunty angle. I think we'll put him at a jaunty angle. Should we put a star behind him or not? What about a bigger star? Put a bigger star here. No, I don't think a star is working. So we'll give up on the star. We'll take this little hanger off him. And now we'll glue him at an angle on there. Now you can put absolutely anything. You could put some buttons on this if you wanted to. You don't have to put words or anything. Buttons always look good on just about everything you make craft-wise. So we're going to stick him there. Hold him just on for a few seconds. Right, now this is all well and good, but how do you hang it up? Well, I'm going to make a hanger. Now I've got a few things I could use. I've got this stripy twine. I've got this rustic looking twine. And I did have until a few minutes ago, yes, I found it again, this little bit of check bow. So let's have a look what looks nicest. There's, obviously it will be more central, there. And there's that. Oh, let's hold this there. String. I think I'm going to go for the ribbon. Let's try this. No, I don't like the rustic look with this. I think it should be all pretty. So, yeah, I think we'll use that. So the best way to fix that to the back is more glue. I'm going to not just do a blob, I'm going to do a run of it and put a little bit of length down the back. Because I wanted to have a really good grip. And then glue that to the glued down bit, like that. And again, because it doesn't really have any views from the back because of the way I've designed it, then that is fine like that. It's always best while your glue is drying, just to be sure you're happy with the positioning of everything. I quite like that. I just thought now that if I hang it like that, it's not going to hang well, is it? So I'm going to take this off, if it isn't too late. And I'm going to slightly angle that there. Let me move this over a little bit more. Yes. Be brutal with it. Come on. Do what I say. Give it a good tug. Show it who's boss. And then when we turn it over, that's better. You've got a hanging loop now, so you can hang it on a nail or something, and it'll look perfect. Now you can add some glitter if you wanted to. You can add some ribbon. I quite like it as it is there. I think I've done enough there. So let's clear up and have a look. So here we have our candy cane, made from some cardboard, some second-hand clothing, some vintage and second-hand Christmas ornaments that I got from the charity shop. The only thing I paid full price for was the glue. And so you can turn out something really pretty very quickly and very easily with very little cost. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, then please give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more tutorials like this, then it would be really great if you could subscribe to me. I'll be having a change of name in the new year, so I will be changing from Caroline J Art to My Hillside Home. So I'd love to see you back at My Hillside Home for more craft, art, unboxings, happy mails. There's usually something going on here in my studio. I'll see you all next time, but until then, don't forget, have fun. Bye!